right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Riot Platforms, stock ticker RIOT. They just put out a press release. They have not put out a press release like this in over a year and a half. So I want to go through what they said they did and what this means for Riot blockchain. This is actually very, very big press release from them. So I'm going to explain to you guys what it is, and then you guys can be the judge of what it means for Riot over the next couple of years. Okay, so just to start off, let's take a look at where Riot is at. It's at $10.77 as of the end of trading yesterday, which was Monday. It's still at $1.9 billion market cap. So roughly $2 billion. So this has been basically the number one market cap out of all the Bitcoin miners all year this year. Marathon recently, over the last few days, just passed it up. They have traded places many times over the years. So Marathon has been gearing up. They are now producing significantly more Bitcoin than Riot. And it's been really almost a year and a half since Riot has announced any expansion plans at all. That is a very long time. Now, that's kind of simultaneous with the bear market / crypto winter, but many of the Bitcoin miners continued to have press releases, buy additional machines even throughout the crypto winter, and continue to grow their Exahash. Now, Riot did have a lot of purchase orders by the end of 2021, so they had enough purchase orders to get themselves to over 12 Exahash. The last press release where they talked about adding Exahash was back in January, the beginning of January of 2022. So that's coming on just a couple of weeks short of a year and a half ago. If you enjoy this content, please remember to subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel out a lot. And you can also smash the like button and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. So I'll actually take you to that press release. Since this time, they have not put another press release out to add to that Exahash. In fact, they've retired some machines over that period of time and reduced this goal to, I think, to 12.5 Exahash. So now you're going to see, I want to get to the press release they put out today because this is on a magnitude. I think this is the biggest addition any Bitcoin mining company has ever talked about when you see the entire amount that they are buying and the amount that they have options to buy going forward. I'm putting this video out on a Tuesday, so I want to remind everybody, Tuesday is our members only live stream. So if you are not yet a member, you can become a member and support the channel by hitting the join button on the YouTube page. Like I said, we have a members only live stream every Tuesday. In that live stream, the members get to pick a stock for me to do a deep dive on. So there's an entire library full of content of videos that we've already done. In addition to that, there's a members only Discord, and it does help support the channel, and it helps me continue to do this on a daily basis. So much appreciation to all existing members, and welcome to any new members. Okay, Riot purchases 7.6 exahash of next generation miners from MicroBT manufactured in the United States. So this also is a part of the story here. The supply chain situation, they are producing these in the United States, and that's a big step forward. And this 7.6 exahash is essentially only 1/3 of the amount that they have the option to buy over the next couple of years. But let's start with the 7.6 exahash. Landmark deal includes an initial purchase of 33,280 miners to increase self-mining capacity to 20.1 exahash upon full deployment in 2024. So this is not going to happen until some point in 2024. We'll talk more about that later. Then it says the agreement also includes an option to purchase up to 66,560 additional miners at the same terms. So that's another 15 exahash of miners past this 7.6. So it's over 22 exahash in total between the purchase order they're making now and the options they have on a going forward basis. So you can see, unless somebody else makes another move, this will make them by far the largest Bitcoin mining company at that time. I think we'd expect Marathon and Core Scientific and CleanSpark and potentially some others to continue the exahash race with these guys. So, you know, this just leapfrogs them for now, but this is a continuing battle. And I would expect with announcements like this, the worldwide exahash rate will continue to grow. We're going to have to see then at the halving, what does that do? Do a lot of machines need to be turned off at that point? Are we going to go backwards a little bit? That actually would be a really positive thing for the publicly traded Bitcoin miners in North America if some of the other Bitcoin miners around the world become obsolete. But that all remains to be seen. That's still about a year off into the future. And that's just about the time that Riot plans on getting this 7.6 exahash online. Under the agreement, Riot has secured an initial order of 33,280 next-generation Bitcoin miners from MicroBT. The miners will be produced by MicroBT in the United States for Riot's Corsicana facility, which is in Texas, for consideration of $162.9 million. So that works out to be about $21.50 per terahash. So very competitive, especially when you see these machines that they are buying. I have not seen anybody purchase a machine of this magnitude so far. This looks to be the biggest machine on the market right now. I know they rolled out talk of some new machines at the Bitcoin mining conference a few months ago, but here's an actual purchase of machines that I've never seen the likes of before. Okay, the agreement provides delivery for new miners starting in December of 2023, so that's this December, and deployment planned in the beginning of Q1 2024. Look at these machines. The hash rate on these machines, 220 terahash for the M56X Plus, but then they have M56S Plus Plus. That's 230 terahash, and their efficiency is 22 joules per terahash. So the global average on the hash rate is still something near 40 joules. And I do believe, inevitably, that is going to cause a lot of the previous machines to become obsolete just because the cost equation to mine on a machine that's that inefficient versus these new machines just isn't going to make economic sense anymore at some point. And I think that point's going to be the halving, but again, we're going to have to wait and see. Okay, so Riot also has secured the option to purchase up to 66,560 additional M56S++ miners from MicroBT on the same terms as the initial order. Under the agreement, assuming full exercise of Riot's options, the 66,560 additional miners would add 15.3 exahash to Riot's self-mining capacity to a potential total of 35.4 exahash. Riot may execute the option in whole or in part through December 31st, 2024. They will have room between their two facilities to store all of the machines they're talking about. The question is, economically speaking, are they going to be able to afford to buy all these machines, finish 100% of all that infrastructure, and the price of Bitcoin is going to have an awful lot to do with that. So obviously the Bitcoin economics is going to be key in how fast Riot decides to grow. But at a bare minimum here, they've made a commitment to get to 20.1 exahash. So that is going to put them right back in the thick of things among the top Bitcoin mining companies by exahash rate. And with all these new machines at a very high level of efficiency, they already boast a low cost per coin. There's two companies in particular, Cypher and TeraWolf, that are several $1,000s less cost per coin right now than Riot. But we will see if they can get more and more competitive over time by changing their mix of machines. The other thing about Riot is they have an extremely strong balance sheet. So they are not going to have to borrow money. They almost certainly will have to continue to dilute, but they also have almost $200 million of cash on their balance sheet. So if I go to this page from their investor presentation, you'll see number 3, strong financial and liquidity position, cash balance, $188 million at this time, and that was as of March 31st. So, coming up on $200 million of cash. They have another $200 million in Bitcoin. Now, I don't think they're looking to sell that Bitcoin, but they do sell about 600 Bitcoin a month. So some of that can go towards CapEx spending. And then you'll see for the rest of 2023, they plan on spending another $182 million on capital expenditures to build the Corsicana facility. So we have to add that $182 million to, if you see here, the total consideration for the miners themselves, the 7.6 exahash worth of miners, is $162 million. So that's about $340 million. They have $200 million of that in cash. So I would expect some dilution. Maybe, 10% dilution is going to get them where they're going, but this increases their exahash by about 60% if they're able to do this. So even if they have to dilute by 10 or 15 or even 20% to get 60%, I do think that's a very good deal for them, especially if they can get all of this done going into the halving and position themselves as a much larger and much more energy efficient company. Past that, you'll see there's another $81 million to finish phase 1 of the Corsica facility. And you'll see down here in the notes where you probably can't read, phase 1 is 400 megawatts. So that will be more than enough room for all of the machines that they're talking about to get to the 20.1 exahash, maybe even another takedown to get to maybe 27 exahash, which would be half of the options they have. Because remember, they do have options to get to 35 exahash should they choose to do so. The only thing is, that would be another maybe $300 million in machines and probably another, $250 million in CapEx to finish out the rest of the Corsicana facility to get it up to 1 gigawatt. So we'll see how fast that happens over time. That may take all of 2025 and or 2026. And obviously, again, I think Bitcoin economics is going to dictate that if Bitcoin starts to hit all-time highs and there's money to do this and they're able to generate that money and their stock rises significantly so that they can do so with minimal dilution, then I think you can potentially expect to see them get to 35 exahash maybe in the next 2 years. That's the absolute top end. That's if they execute 100% of this plan and all of their options. So that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but you can see they have cleared a path to get to 35 exahash. So this is what we're looking for them to do. January 5th, 2022, a year and a half ago, they laid out their plan to get to 12.5 exahash. So they've now executed that plan. Now they're laying out their plan to get to 20.1 exahash and then potentially to 35 exahash. So this is what the future looks like for Riot. We'll see how long it takes and how fast they can get this done. But I do think this adds some life to the Riot blockchain story. It's been fairly stagnant. They do have an extremely strong balance sheet. They have the strongest balance sheet, in my opinion, out of all the Bitcoin miners that are publicly traded in North America. They have book value of over $1 billion. They're the only Bitcoin miner that has that. So this is a very strong company. Also, they have zero debt, none. So this is a strong company. They can allocate their money. Instead of having to spend money on debt service, on principal and interest for debt, they can spend that money that they generate on operations and then on capital expenditures to continue to grow. So I think they're set up to go. The question is going to be execution. So we're going to have to look on a monthly basis. Can they execute this plan? And I think it's going to be a long time before we know, but obviously each month gives us more and more information. But this is their first press release of this nature in just under a year and a half. And it is a massive press release. So let me know what you guys think of this. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comments section. Do you believe Riot's going to execute this plan? Where do you think they're going? Do they get to 20.1 exahash? So that's the big news for Riot Blockchain. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks again, and we will see you in the next one.